Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're coming live today from White's International dealership in Greensboro, North Carolina. And saw some fresh news come out today. I want to talk about that and tell you what's going on with my truck. For those of you that don't know, I have a 2024 International LT 625 with the Cummins X15, and I forgot what it is. I'm trying to open up my other phone. I hope y'all are doing well this morning. God bless you. We made it another day. Be grateful. And my week got interrupted today. Good morning, Charity. Ladies in the house. So I'm going to pull up some articles. I read some interesting news this morning, so I figured it'd give me something to talk about. And while I drink from my awesome Snorler cup. So thanks for coming in, Grafton. Good morning. It's great to see you. And ladies first today. Charity is first, so thanks for coming in. I don't know about where you're at, but it is a beautiful day. I'm sorry for the backlight. I don't know if I can change position. I'm trying not to be weird here in the trucker's lounge. That's better. Okay, whatever. Larry, good morning. Trucking with T-Bone, good morning. So I want to talk about some news. I know I try not to step on the trucker news channels and stuff like that, because not that I would be stepping on them, but this is coffee chat, and I know I normally do this on Sunday, but I have extra time this morning. I'm waiting on my truck to get repaired. I had a couple of small issues. So let me remember the name of it. Okay, so I was leaking air, and as you guys know, it's, DOT Blitz Week is looming whenever. I don't know if it's this week or next week, but regardless, like, get your truck ready. Make sure you're 100, because, right, it's just your luck that they're going to pull you in and you're going to get inspected. So, yeah, I'm wearing my cool international hat because I'm in the international dealership. So I'm sporting it. Gives me a good reason. This is a really nice hat. I got this when I bought my second truck. Me and Elvin both got one, and I do love. This is a great hat. It's all embroidered and stuff. Anyways, so the quick release air pressure valve on my rear axle was spewing air. This was great. I learned something. So my truck was still fully operational. And so I was able to continue, drop off my load, and then, not book another load so I could come in and get that taken care of. Next week. Okay. DOT Blitz is next week. So I want to praise the Lord for a couple things. I'm glad this happened now. And I'm glad the two things happened at the same time, so I could get two things taken care of while I was here. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me shut off my notifications. Will it let me? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I know if you're listening on your stereo, like, it's super loud. Wearing that hat makes you look even more beautiful. Thank you. Look, guys. Chicks love compliments, especially first thing in the morning. Sets off the day, right? Tyler Adams, I'm sick today. Oh, I'm sorry, Tyler. I hope it's nothing like too bad, but I hope you get well. S125's in the house saying good morning. Okay. Good morning, and thank you for coming in. If they pop in and tell me that my truck's ready, like, I'm going to end this abruptly. So just fair warning. Let me show you Dee Dee. Say good morning, Dee Dee. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, she wants to go outside and play, so, but we did that already. Okay, in a little bit. So, okay, so the air pressure valve was leaking, and then my TPMS sensor light came on the dashboard. So even though I had this air leak, I was losing a little bit of pressure, like when I would try to maneuver and back up and whatever, like it would seem to run out of air really fast. And so I would have to stop and then press on the gas to get the air built back up. It was causing situations like that, but the truck was driving fine. It was pulling fine, all of that. So regardless, it was loud. And of course, you got to be 100. So if I were to get pulled in or pulled over or whatever, the officer would clearly recognize that there is some air leaking somewhere. So, yeah, let's go, Jerome. Jerome Jones in the house, international man of mystery and channel member. Thank you, Jerome. Okay, so both of those happened, I guess, as of 2 days ago, let's say, okay? 3 days ago, maybe now. Good morning, Alfalfa, Cheap Freight Hauler, channel member. Thank you, guys. Come on in, get your coffee. I got my Snorlords. Yeah, I got to make some coffee in the little driver's lounge right here. So I got a pot brewing. I don't know if I'll have time to finish it. They did pull my truck in this morning. They did the air pressure valve yesterday, and then they let me stay under the carport or the truck port thing overnight, and so that they could do the tire this morning, because what they have to do is replace that sensor. So he said they have to take off the tire, they have to pull the tube out, or the inner line, whatever you call it. I'm terrible about truck part names. I call them thingies and this and that. But anyways, they have to pull that out, and then the sensors in between that lining and the tire. So they have to get to that sensor, pull that sensor out, and then put a new sensor in there, and then put that lining back in, and then put the tire back on and all that. So I can't imagine it's going to take them too long. So let's utilize this time while we have it. So so those happened, and I brought it in, and I drove an hour to get here because this is a major dealership. And where I was at, which was in Virginia, I delivered to Tyson Foods in Virginia, and that was a fiasco. But I got that done, and I drove all the way down here because there wasn't really any major dealerships up there where I was at. And I figured, coming down to Greensboro, I'll be starting out probably in a pretty good freight area also. So when I'm ready to get a load, then I should be in a good spot. I always get the little sniffles in the morning when I drink my coffee, Jerome. It's just whatever. So sorry for my sniffling, but I'm not sick. I feel fantastic. Buck Brown's in the house saying good morning. My truck and sis, good morning, Buck. Cheap Freight Hauler says, I got a KW that may change your look. Wait, I got a KW hat that may change your luck with trucks. My luck, look, I need to clear the slate on something about my trucks, okay? I had a driver in when we bought the second truck, okay? That was Elvin. And so he drove the truck. The truck did great for him. And when Elvin left the truck, he didn't, I had to get the truck back. Let's put it at that. I don't want to go into all the details. The situation was starting to not be successful, and we were trying to stop disaster because we saw it coming. Okay, so it's hard to say that vaguely. Okay, but anyways, I got awesome. Was not able to be kept up, and the way that they were running in a lot of little things, right? So the maintenance wasn't able to be kept up. Therefore, when someone else is leasing your truck or lease purchasing your truck, the maintenance has to be taken care of, and it was kind of going downhill. So regardless, end of the day, long story short, the truck came back to me, and it needed the maintenance. It needed normal maintenance, okay? Not to mention, the truck got a little bit of damage on it on the cargo door and a scratch on the side. Okay, I just got a spinning wheel. So that take a second, hit the light, guys, would you please? I got to get back in the algorithm, so reach over there real fast. It looks like I got 17 people in here and 7 likes, so please take a second while I'm telling the story. And so ultimately, as a truck owner, I have to take care of that maintenance. So it went in for the usual maintenance, and new mechanic at my shop didn't do the job. Okay. He didn't do what the truck went in for. So Sterling came rushing out here, got the truck out of the shop, didn't do the pre-trip to catch a couple of things. He went out with the truck, realized that some things were wrong when he was out with the truck. So then I had to deal with all of that. This is while I'm home healing. And then Sterling had to bring the truck back and to the shop so that they could correct what wasn't done and wasn't done improperly and whatever. So ultimately, with all of that, it ran me $5,000. A brake was busted, the hub seal was busted, or leaking, excuse me. And so that wasn't detected until Sterling was in Ohio. And that could have been detected before it left the shop, but it wasn't. And so anyways, it had to come back to the shop anyway. So we brought it back to the shop. It got everything all redone, got a complete A service, fixed the brake, fixed the hub seal, and took off a couple of, those aerodynamic things that are in between the drive tires for aerodynamics. We just took those off because whatever happened to the truck when Elvin had it, like somehow they were bent. It's almost like he ran over something or whatever. So the brackets were bent too bad, so that we just removed them. Then Sterling took back off. And then I think that's when he started having trouble with the ABS sensor. It's a sensor, it happens, it just timing, whatever. So then the ABS sensor had to be replaced. Fine. That was covered under warranty. So, however, the truck's running great. It's still a great tool. The way it was presented kind of made it sound bad for my truck, but that's a beautiful truck, and I'm just telling you because it just needs maintenance, and so it's nothing out of the ordinary. They can't stay perfect all the time, and so now that Sterling, which I'm grateful that Sterling, who's a knowledgeable driver, knowledgeable mechanic, sense, and all of that. So while he was on his 6 weeks here at Like Trucking, he really, it was great for me. I appreciated it because you have a knowledgeable person in the seat saying, okay, this could be better, this could be better, whatever. So that's great because that's something I would not have been able to do about my own truck. So I think we got everything nailed down, right? So the truck is like tip top. The bracket on the fairing came loose. Not a big deal. I just get it reattached. Don't know why that happened, but that happened while Sterling was out. And then Sterling hit a bird by accident, so I have a piece to put on the mirror. These are things that happen when drivers have trucks, right? So it's nothing to do with the actual quality of the vehicle because it's still a great truck. And I'm going to get those taken care of. So the truck is parked and I'm going to get that taken care of while I'm out. Jeff's going to help me out with that. And I'm not letting anybody else in that truck until it's 100%, which at this point, it's the mirror plastic thing. It's securing the fairing a little bit better. It's fine. It's on there. It's just a little bit, it does this. And that's annoying for any driver. So I don't want any driver to be annoyed. So we want to get that stuck back solid. And then the body work I'm probably not going to do. I did get the new cargo door. It's just a slightly different color because I got a used one from a prime truck. So I'll have that put on as well. But the scratch, I'm not gonna worry about it. The truck is cool, so it's still in great shape and it's still beautiful. So yeah, then there won't be any issues. So that's the condition of the truck factually and real. So um, that's going to be good. But until then, the truck stays parked and I will take care of it while I'm running. Me and Jeff will do some teamwork and it'll happen. Snorlord, the metalhead Viking caveman trucker, is in the house. Any food delivery is a fiasco. Alfalfa, I agree. I agree. Like, I hate. Look, I got paid on that load, so that's the only reason I did it. And it was hot. And oh, they wanted miracles out of that. Um, Chief Freight Hauler says, "Oh, I was just poking at the pretty penny." No, it's fine. It's fine. No, but it brought to mind. I really need to clear clear the air about the red truck because I feel like whew, some misconceptions could happen about the condition of my truck, and I don't want that to happen because it's not that I'm trying to cover anything up at all because there's nothing to cover up. It's just maintenance. The important thing to remember is that I'm taking care of my truck. I got two great trucks, and I'm still very happy that I have internationals, and it's all good. We're going through a season of maintenance because I had a driver who unfortunately had some things happen and couldn't afford to maintain the truck properly. And that's why I got back. And it sucks that it was 5 grand. And it's actually a little more than that because I still got these other couple things. Because now I got to fix that mirror thing, and then the fairing, and probably could use an alignment. I'm just probably gonna just get it done just because I literally have gotten everything else done on that truck. So there's that. And so now in this truck, the penny, I don't play around with this either. Like, my maintenance gets done. If there's a light on the dash, the blitz is coming up. I'm super glad that this happened this week and not next week, and I could have got caught up, right? So praise the Lord about that. Um, they're taking really good care of me here. Very nice people. I highly recommend this place. If you're ever in Greensboro, North Carolina, it's White's International and they're really nice people. They got me right in yesterday, but unfortunately the TPMS sensor, which they had in stock, by the way, thank God, had to wait till today just because they close at like 4 o'clock. Truck and preventative maintenance is key in business. It is like so I don't like to talk about what I make or whatever. Like, I get by. I've been able to grow my business in a really painful market and still take care of it and still afford it. And whether I have a driver or not, I wouldn't have made the decision if I didn't do the scenario where if I didn't have a driver, like, what does this look like? Okay. Fine. It makes it tight for me, tighter, that if I don't have a driver, because that truck is an investment and a tool that needs to pay for itself. Anyway, again, please hit the like, folks. Jump over there, hit the like really fast. It hurts. It does for me. Um, and so if there's a light on the dashboard, stops. And for future reference, I prefer that anybody who drives the other truck has that same attitude. Like, you've got to invest in your business first. I don't worry about my pay or my money. I'm a business owner, and anybody who's in a truck, being an owner operator, is a business owner. If your tool doesn't run, and if you're not healthy, and if your truck's not healthy, your business is suffering. So those should be the first things in your mind, or at least they are in mine, that those things they're paramount. Like, they have to be taken care of, or you can't do the rest, right? Or you're going to do a half-ass, and that's not a good idea. It's not positive, positive forward movement. Um, what is your definition of a hot load? Well, the broker says it's hot, it's got to be there, the time is tight, like you got to run like a maniac and whatever. That's a hot load. They need it there like right away. They need it expeditiously. That's my definition of a hot load. And I get those because I have a great relationship with this particular broker, and they know if they give a load to me, it's going to get it done. Jerome says, always curious what happened to the second driver. Yeah. So here at Lake Trucking, we provide a platform where somebody can have a chance to begin their own business in trucking. Now that we've got a couple of lease purchase trucks, you have a chance to do that if you want to come on board and get a truck, or come on board and lease a truck and run spot market. Like, we provide a platform for that. So when Jeff and Steve are like the best, because they're a support team. So you always have help. You always have help from the other drivers. All the drivers here are very helpful with each other if they need to talk to each other or whatever. Advice and all that stuff. And Jeff will look at your numbers with you and talk with you and give you suggestions, and so will Steve. Steve will even dispatch you if you need to be pulled out of the weeds or help or whatever. So it's a great place to be and to try to do this. So it all lies on you, though. Your responsibility and your numbers and your how you spend money and how your business mind is. So if you have a business mind, you're going to succeed here. If you don't, you're probably going to fail. So when red flags are going up everywhere, with a driver, and they'll do that to forewarn you or say, this is looking a little rough, and stuff like that. So that was going on. And unfortunately, there are some drivers that don't want to listen and just want to keep doing what they're doing. Well, eventually that starts to crumble. And so, without getting all into details, that was starting to happen. And I had to make a boss decision, not because I'm not his boss, but I had to make a decision about the truck. And it was going south, and it was going south quickly. And so I had to stop that situation from happening, not only for the benefit of the truck, because it needed the maintenance, but for benefit of the driver, because it was going to hurt the driver if they weren't going to stop. So it was a blessing to them, even though they don't see it that way or may not see it that way. So I very much appreciate having Jeff and Steve with me to help me, navigate these kinds of situations. It was very painful. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But anyways, that's that. But the trucks get maintenance. That's first and foremost. And when you start, you realize that they're just not going to get out of their own way, then something has to happen about the truck, because ultimately the truck has to be taken care of so it can carry on. And of course, the driver, we care about the drivers and what they're doing to themselves and their families. And so all of that's taken in. 5G is cheap when it comes to those trucks. 5Gs is cheap when it comes to these trucks. Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful ultimately. I'm not complaining, but it was like, man, what a timing. I was at home. I had one truck on the road, not two, and unexpected. Out in 5 on parole. Kelly Patterson says, good morning, gorgeous. Hit that like for me, guys. Please. I don't care if you like it or not, but if you're here, just hit the thumbs up for me. If I can figure out the password on this phone, there was a story. I think you guys would like to hear about this, so that's why I want to share it. Let me pull it up. News. Maybe it's .com. So I get this little newsletter. It's Trucker Today. Yeah, here it is. So this comes in my email, and there were some pretty decent stories in here. God dang it, are they gonna make me sign in? Trucking news. Can we just go The Nation? Yeah, okay, we got it. So today I read, probably not. There's a lot of good articles on here. So 2 stories. Jersey Trucker, good morning. Thanks for coming in. Please hit the like. All right, so I read this morning that they overturned the Biden rule where you could choose and whether you wanted to be owner operator or employee, or when they were having problems with that, and it was only hitting truckers. It wasn't hitting the Uber drivers and all the independent contractor stuff. That's been completely overturned. So I thought that was a win for trucking. So they got that out of the way. And then also Alex, Mother Trucker News over there, check his channel out, of course. He put out a video that I watched this morning saying that they're saying that the over 300,000 drivers will be taken out by the English proficiency thing. And that's happening in June. So you can have different views about that. You can be extra happy about it, or you can feel bad, or you might be one of those people that's struggling and that will suck for you and all of that. So however you want to look at it, it's coming and it's happening. Now, what does that mean for the rest of us? Could be good things on the horizon, and God bless the people that might be put out, but that's a lot of drivers. And I don't know if I really agree with that number, because I read the first article I read about the news about the overturn of things, saying there was something like 350,000 owner operators. This would affect 300,000 drivers. And that still could be good numbers, because we're talking about drivers across the board when you're talking about the language thing. And then I'm just not sure. I haven't checked my facts about how many truck drivers there are in the nation. But 300,000 is a lot. And if they know that that's going to affect 300,000 drivers, that's a big chip out of the supply and demand, right? So this could get crazy, you guys. This could really get crazy. What an exciting time in trucking, right? Voices are being heard, action is being taken. I'm a little concerned about, okay, so the autonomous trucks, that's obviously brought up in this whole mix. I think we all feel the same way about the autonomous trucks. Like, yeah, they're ramping up. Texas is getting all excited. And Texas could be its own country alone, okay? They can do that in Texas. They can run this stuff and all this. But we all know people that run in the north, them trucks are never going to make it. And like Alex said, it's not going to happen in our lifetime that's going to take over trucking. There's too many dynamics, okay? So we all know that. I think we all, we all feel the same way. Why they don't get it, I don't understand. But I'm pretty sure they do. And I'm pretty sure that this is only the beginning. And, maybe a couple of truck accidents, or, spinning wheels in the truck signals. Who knows? The satellite gets knocked out. Somebody hacks into it. The language thing, being taken action on in June, which is next month. Next month, guys. That's going to be something. That's going to be like a wave of some sort. So I don't know whether to freak out or not. I don't know. So there's that. But I'm excited that things are happening. Trucking is being heard. I know the ATA is taking all the credit in the OIDA. Like the articles are like they're on the forefront. Well, good for you guys and thank you. Honestly, there is gratitude in my heart that if they're up there, they're doing something and news is coming out. Like we need that. I know a lot of people are unhappy about those organizations. And so that's why, Jeff set out to do something about it and to create something that's seriously for the truckers and on a real active note. And so check out www.PITA, P-I-T-A, Professional Individual Truckers Association. So it's PITA-US.com. Join up. There's lots of bennies. The bennies are well worth it. And the goal is to get us all together so we can work together and do the things that affect directly the owner operators and any truck drivers that are company drivers even, but take the issues and get to work on them. And it's absolutely not for the mega carriers. Okay. We're for the driver. And so it's more focused for the driver and the owner operators, the real trucking issues, not just, catering to the megas and all that stuff, some real stuff aside from what OIDA focuses on and ATA. Yeah. So go check that out. And hey, join up because I think membership may still be half off. Chief Rayoler says delivered to a store this morning. Just reopened Friday after being closed since Helene. Oh, wow. Store was under 13 feet of water. Yeah. And then there's real problems on the ground that those people are still dealing with. Autonomous trucks don't speak English either. Good point. Snorler says, let the robots have the cheap Texas freight. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh yeah, the freight's low in Texas right now, so let them have it. And whatever. Let them do that. It's probably good. It's probably a good move for Texas. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna down them for that. Like I get it. If you can do that, then great. I think we might have to be more thinking about the hybrid trucks, like the new trucks coming out. I saw also on Alex's channel that he did a review on that, and that's interesting to me because that might be more immediate in our future. He said those trucks are getting like 12 miles to the gallon. Just think about that. Now, are they going to up the price on those trucks for us to get? Yes. But dude, that kind of fuel mileage, that's going to put us out of business. That's going to mess with us. So that's what you should be paying attention to, is how adapt and adjust your business and all of these things that are happening in the future. I think how it's been is that, you think about paying off, like even for me, I think about paying off my truck. Woo woo, no truck payment. Okay, that's good. But what about if I want to grow my fleet? What about, of course I would want those trucks. Of course. What does that look like? What are the prices going to look like? If you are new to the business and or your truck is old and it's, at some point here in the near future, you're going to have to buy a new truck. That's who should be thinking about that. And then everybody else, because even if my truck's paid off, am I going to be able to compete with those trucks out there? That's going to be rough. So that's something to immediately start thinking about, you guys, if you're not thinking about it. Snorler says there's never a reason to freak out. I agree because we're not in control anyways. The point is to adapt and adjust and do well in your little arena that is under your control. But I highly suggest that you give it to God first and you ask Him to lead it and you pray about everything. That's what I have to say about it. But yeah, there's a lot of changes. Like we got to be ready. You got to be financially as ready as you can be so that you can flex and move with what the industry's doing. I know for me, if we're going to hit this boom, like I'm not spending it. I'm still going to act as if I do now, as I do now, and not spend any money and try to capitalize off of that. It's going to be very challenging. Like it's challenging for me now, but and thankfully, whatever, I got 2 days taken out of my week this week because the truck needed attention. But I'm okay. I have peace about it. It is what it is. I'm gonna, as soon as they're done, they tell me my tire's all back on, and I'm gonna say okay, and I'm gonna look for a load, and I'm gonna move on. Oh, News goes in the house. Good morning. Saying only time to be stressed is when someone actually is trying to unalive you. Oh God, if that ain't, there ain't nothing more true to that. Buck Brown says, I would still hire the most distracted driver in the country before I ever put an autonomous truck in my fleet. Well, you got to think, I understand the principle, but there's some point that your business is in danger if you don't evolve, right? And so if it's the difference whether you make it or not, or your business has to close down or not, like does that decision still stand? Chase and Go says, I stopped paying OIDA or caring about them after the second time I asked for help. And once again, they were only interested if my dues were paid, never got help. Yeah, and that is a reason that we were working on the PETA organization because of those types of things. Like all of that crap that people go through with those organizations, and when those organizations actually make it to the Congress floor and they send a freaking look, you get 5 minutes of fame in Congress, and you got 5 minutes to say what you got to say. And my own personal opinion is when I watched that, it was a disaster, and I was like, how freaking embarrassing for those organizations. So anyway, get everybody together and get down to the real issues. For the guys down here, boots on the ground guys. It's for the, they're catering to the mega carriers a little too much. And this is not what PETA-US is. So we really need support. We really need everybody to get together because we're trying to build this group and do the right things, the things that we actually need, and get our voices heard. And I personally, like, there is no better time. We got Sean Duffy in there. We got everybody's making noise for the first time, at least since I've been a trucker. Like, they have to listen to us right now. So it's important that we organize and be together so that we can get our voices heard and get after some of these issues. Buck Brown says locomotives have been hybrid for 20 years. Yes, right. See? No, there's a thing. Like, yeah, they've been doing it. Okay. I'm picking up what you're laying down, Buck. I know without going into it. St. Christopher Foundation is the only trucking organization I can personally verify that does really help drivers. Jason Ghost says. I never heard of that one. That's interesting. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Snorlord wants to drive a Scania. Had an interesting conversation here with the dealership, with the Scania company for the motor. Okay. That's what International is working on. I thought that was an interesting fun fact. Chief Freight Hauler says, I know several guys getting 10 plus mile per gallon on diesel trucks. Yeah, well, what are they driving? Buck Brown says maintenance is definitely key, or example, my 8-year-old truck averages 8 miles per gallon and there's no in between on my loads. It's either loaded to 80K or empty. Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So yeah, um, good times are happening and it's so exciting. And it really makes me like not lose. I'm not losing hope. I'm almost getting too excited about like, is it going to be good? Or is it going to be still challenging? Or like, well, like the mystery is exciting to me. I'm probably crazy for that, but I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with what I'm doing still. I'm totally happy with the truck being parked right now, so it can get some extra over to drive. We do have that truck available. I don't want to rush on anything because I do need to send it in the shop one more time to get those little things fixed. But you guys can put the word out if you want. You can have, if anybody is interested, they can apply to light trucking and they can have people definitely have to. I would highly recommend if anyone is interested, you need to have your credit in order. Hopefully you have money in the bank to get you started off on a good foot, to get your business started. This is about you starting your own business or being in a great environment to maintain your own business if you've already started it, but you know the value of having money in the bank and having your credit together. It is not smart to come to light trucking otherwise. Point blank. You will be on your best foot forward if you have those two things in order before you come. So if anybody has a friend that you would vouch for or whatever, they're welcome to apply at this point. Snorlax says, is it me or is the signal kind of janky? Yeah, I caught a couple spinny wheels. So I think it's probably the phone signal. So I apologize about that. Oh, come on, for goodness sakes. I have the second phone and I can't remember the passcode to it. Let's see what else is going on. I've been hanging out in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Snorler talked about my little pocket, and I was doing pretty good until I had to take a couple days off here unexpectedly. And so I've been really enjoying it. And the weather is fantastic down here. I got a little sun. Me and Dee Dee been able to play. Bull, the Woods is in the house. Top of the morning. Good morning. Hanging out at the dealership with the folks. They're taking good care of me. I really like this place. They've been very nice. And I called ahead. This is what I recommend if you're going to come down here. They have several locations, by the way. This is by no means a small one shop deal. But if you're in North Carolina and you need to get your international work done, you want to give them a call ahead and ask them, what the scene is, and ask them if they can get you in and plan on you coming in. I would highly recommend that for any shop. But that's what I did, and they were like, yeah, we'll take a look at you this afternoon. So not only did they take a look at the situation, but they fixed the valve that was malfunctioning. And so they almost tried to send me out without the TPMS sensor getting fixed, okay? And he asked me, and he's like, do you want to just get it taken care of at your own shop or whatever? And I was like, well, no, because that's the light on the dashboard. And Blitz Week's coming up. And regardless, like I can't drive with any lights on the dashboard, right? So I was like, well, let me see if I have the part. So he went to check. He goes, I do have the part. He goes, I got it in stock. He goes, but, if you want to go, they probably wouldn't, do anything about the light on your dashboard. And I was like, no, yeah, they will. So I said, no, I live in Michigan. I said, we need to get that taken care of. I can't go back out on the road with any lights on my dashboard. He's like, well, okay, it'll be tomorrow. I said, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, I was already mentally like, okay, this is going to be the rest of the week, right? But it's okay. I got peace. So, and it's warranted. Okay. Both items are warranted. Thank God. So one stop, we're going to get it all done. Cause I don't got time for this. And I ain't stopping twice. So I didn't let them get away with that. You know what I mean? Wheel Burner Express is in the house, channel member. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Top of the morning to you guys. So that's what's going on. There it is. There it is. Where are you? I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. Omid 929 is in the house saying hi. Hi, Omid. My name is Nobody's in the house saying hi or saying good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so I'm at the shop, Wheel Burner, as I just said, and had a couple little things that need to be taken care of on the truck. So I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina at White's International. Shout out. They're taking good care of me. What is today? What's the date today? Oh, here's a news story. This might be interesting. Led by lower reefer demand, spot load posts declined across all three equipment types. The number of posted loads on DAT slipped to 2.19 million, down 4.2% week over week, mainly on the lower demand for reefer capacity. That's interesting because that's food, right? Truck posts fell to 249,599, down 3.7% week over week, and 36% year over year, DAT said. DAT. They say we continue to monitor cargo traffic at West Coast ports, where container ship arrivals are expected to be substantially lower this week. This is today's news, okay? Drive-in loads are down 837,000, down 3.3% week over week. Line haul rate, $1.62 net, fuel up 1 cent. Now that's strange because I saw another article posted today that fuel was down 2 cents. That's drive-ins. Reefer loads, 396,000 plus, down 11.8% week over week. It says reefer equipment down 4.9%. I'm not reading the long numbers. Line haul rate, $1.92 net. Fuel is up 2 cents. Flatbed loads down 1.4% week over week. Flatbed equipment is 4.9% up, and line haul rate is $2.16 net. Fuel down 1 cent. It says reefer load post volumes uncharacteristically dropped last week at a time when they typically start to increase. So that's different. Especially month end when shippers clear their loading docks of inventory. This is from Dean Croak, DAT IQ industry analyst. Lower load and equipment posts resulted in a national average reefer load to truck ratio of 8.8, a 7% dip compared to the previous week. According to Croak, I hope I'm saying his name right, expect refrigerated truck volumes from southern Florida to surge. This is probably the surge that we've been seeing that Snorler was talking about. With floral shipments moving out of Miami ahead of Mother's Day. This week, Miami will be a hot market as shippers rush to fill last-minute orders, especially on the Atlanta, Dallas, Fort Worth lanes. So that's Florida and Texas. Last year, loads from Miami to Atlanta paid carriers an average of $2.64 a mile and rose $1.18 in the 2 weeks leading up to Mother's Day. Mother's Day is Sunday, by the way. So I think that's where you're going to capitalize, is trying to get that Mother's Day freight, guys. So keep an eye on that. Ask about what the commodities is, because you can negotiate a higher rate for things like that, right? The CVSA International Road Check is May 13th through the 15th. And thank God I'm in the shop getting my stuff taken care of right now. International Road Check is an annual 3-day high visibility, high volume commercial vehicle and driver inspection blitz in Canada, Mexico, and the US. Croak said inspectors will focus on 2 critical areas: tires and records of duty status. Means your hours of service compliance. Okay. It's not unusual to see capacity tighten during this event, with some truckers wanting to avoid enforcement exposure to inspection related delays. So that might be a positive for freight this week too, or next week, sorry. People ducking out, right? Here it is. This is the diesel prices article I wanted to check out. Wheelburner says that means the rate on reefer freight is going to drop. Yeah, Old School Trucking, good morning. Yeah, it's interesting too, because food is something that we actually make here in the U.S. So I wonder if I can get this article where it says diesel prices dropped. I always pay attention to, like, well, this one says it's up and this one says it's down. So according to what we just read for the DAT, that guy said their analytics say that it's up 1 cent, up 2 cents, right? And I don't think this is going to let me get this article because it says no internet. Oh, here we go. It says, now I'm getting to, let me get back. So just for reference purposes, I'm getting this from the newsletter called The Trucker. This one says, once again, diesel prices ticked downward another 2 cents. Nationally, prices dropped from $3.51 to $3.49. Most regions fell by a cent or two, with no region experiencing a rise in price per gallon. The region that made the largest climb was the Midwest region, which fell from $3.45 to $3.43, and the lower Atlantic region that fell from $3.47 to $3.44. East Coast, $3.56, New England, $3.89, Central Atlantic, $3.79, Lower Atlantic, $3.44, Midwest, $3.43, Gulf Coast, $3.17, Rocky Mountain, $3.46, West Coast, $4.20, West Coast, less California, $3.75, and California, $4.72. Now, I don't know where all these numbers come from, and I'm sure there's science behind it, but I've been filling up the past 2 weeks with my little happy pocket that I found for like $2.90. So I'm thrilled about that. That's helped a lot. And that plus a decent rate, I've been pretty happy the last week or two. Well, this is my 3rd week out, so week-ish, because I made it to yesterday and then I had to stop the truck. Chase and Go says people can't afford groceries. There's a Russian name in there that I don't know how to read, but hello, thanks for coming in. I can't afford nothing, Chase and Go says. I don't, I think everybody's kind of like in a cash flow. Like, you just got to keep cash flowing. And I'm pretty sure they wanted us to be in that situation. Because as long as we are, there's a need. Right? God forbid, let everybody have a surplus so they don't have to, be dependent on working their faces off. T Hill says, Chasing Ghosts, what are you trying to buy? I'm still on my carnivore diet, keeping things simple and keeping things to a tight budget. So that's working out. I only eat once a day. That helps a lot. So I'm saving a lot of money on food. And I don't get hungry, like, because I'm strictly eating meat, like it keeps me satiated for a whole 24 hours. Um, I'm kind of into my pork rinds right now, especially during a traffic jam. But and that's hard to find without sugar in them. That they put a bunch of junk in there to flavor them. I'm just talking about straight raw pork rinds. And so I have that for a little snack. I don't eat them a whole lot, but I've been in a lot of traffic jams lately, and they've been my friend. Chase and Go says, we're in a situation where people making 100 grand a year are struggling to buy groceries. Well, I agree. And, and I was one of them, but I, for me, it was, I came to a health issue. Like, not only am I spending too much, but I'm eating stuff I shouldn't be eating. It's affecting my health. And so I did a whole revamp on my lifestyle. And so it saves me money. I'm eating less. My health is better. That was the change I made for myself, because they're charging so much money for processed foods, and processed foods would just kill you anyways. So I moved my decisions, my adaptation around like that, and that works for me. T Hill says, how much is per diem? For what exactly? Is that, I don't know. Is that something you want me to look up? Can I open another one? Let's see what AI says. Says per diem rates vary based on location and time of year, but generally the standard per diem rate for lodging in the continental U.S. is $110. Meals and incidental expenses rate is $68. For 2025, the rate has increased to $68. I don't know if that helps. I don't really know what you're asking there. Is it Sunday morning already? 6 Semper Tyrannis is in the house. No, I just want to talk about some fresh news, and I'm here in the dealership, so I had time. So I was like, why not? Let's have some coffee and talk about it. So I appreciate you guys all coming in. Please hit the like if you haven't already. I'm trying to buy a rear tire for my bike. Chase and Go says, getting sketchy. Buck Brown says, SST, welcome to Monday morning part 4. Wheelburner says, in Canada, we are allowed to have up to $60 a day or $20 for 3 meals per day per diem. We can claim that and get our money back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't, my accountant probably deals with all that with me. I don't know. I don't think I do a per diem anything. OIDA's honoring service members with the Truckers for Troops campaign. Thanks, OIDA. That's pretty awesome. See if there's anything else interesting. White House fires NTSB Vice Chair Alvin Brown. Truck crossed center line and crashed with tour van that killed 7 near Yellowstone. Oh, God, that looks awful. They got a picture on there. Let's see. Ohio, Tennessee. Here we go. This is probably a hot one. Um, per diem helps us lower our taxes. Okay. I don't use AI. I watched Terminator back in the day. I heeded John Connor's warning. Yeah, isn't it funny? I've been catching that too, like thinking about that. I'm like, uh, yeah, ooh. I think in that movie, like the scientist that they went to his house and like she was going to kill him in front of his family. Right now, I feel like that represented Obama and what he did with the labs. Just saying. That's what I think. I don't know. U.S. trade deficit hits record high as con- businesses and consumers try to get ahead of Trump tariffs. Now, this is an article by the Associated Press, May 6th, okay, which is 2 days ago. Says the U.S. trade deficit soared to a record $140 billion in March as consumers and businesses alike tried to get ahead of Donald Trump's latest sweeping tariffs, with federal data showing an enormous stockpiling of pharmaceutical products, because we get a lot of those from China, right? Um, the deficit, which measures the gap between the value of goods and services the U.S. sells abroad against what it buys, has roughly doubled over the last year. In March 2024, the gap was just under 68.6 billion, according to the federal data released on Tuesday. U.S. exports for goods and services totaled about 207. Consumer goods led the import surge, increasing by 22.5 billion in March, and pharma products, meaning drugs, pharma, in particular climbed 20.9 billion, and the US Census Bureau and Bureau of Economic Analysis noted, signaling that drug makers sought to get ahead of Trump's threats on the tariff sector. While we had known that consumer goods accounted for the bulk of March's rise, we can now see the pharmaceutical products were 20 billion higher, almost all of which were imported from Ireland. Uncertainty remains high, and the broader signs of front loading may be visible in coming months. That's from analysts at Oxford Economics. Imports of capital goods like computers, as well as automotive parts and cars, also increased in March. But industrial supplies and materials such as metal and crude oil coming into the U.S. fell, notably as the steel and aluminum tariffs and other levies impacting energy took effect. And service-based imports like travel also decreased. Trade wars, Trump threatened tariffs, blah, blah, blah. White House. The White House insists that new tariffs will help closing long-standing trade deficits, reinvigorate manufacturing in America, and generate government revenue. But economists are warning of significant consequences for businesses, households, and economies worldwide under the levies that Trump has proposed. These new tariffs are already increasing operating costs in businesses that rely on a global supply chain, which that means us too, which in turn will hike prices for a range of goods that consumers buy each day. New orders for manufactured durable goods jumped 9%. March trade deficit surpasses the last month record of 130 billion reported in January. Also amid tariff uncertainty after Trump took office, marking more than a $32 billion jump from December. All of this contributed to shrinking economic growth in the first 3 months of the year. Last week, the Commerce Department reported that the U.S. gross domestic product, or output of goods and services, fell at a 0.3% annual pace from January through March, marking the first drop in 3 years. Imports grew at a total 41% pace for that period, its fastest rate since 2020. shaving 5 percentage points off first quarter growth, but the surge is likely to reverse in the next 5 weeks. I think we might experience a pullback, and that's actually challenging more than it is now. And so that's my opinion. And that's pretty much the hottest news I've been able to find today that we probably need to be aware of. So there it is. $19 Weedy 86, welcome in. Will Burner says 17 in the chat. Everybody hit the like button, please. Thank you, thank you. 6 says I don't. Oh, I read that one already. Hold on. Will Burner says it's ironic, SST, how close to reality that movie was. AI is walking down the exact same road. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, come to think about it, like I see stuff, and then it reminds me way back to like Star Wars, right? The Jetsons cartoon, way back. And it's like these things come to mind, and I'm like, wow, this stuff has been in front of us the whole time. Old School says, I would not pee on OIDA if they were on fire. Well, then please check out pita-us.com, pita-us.com. You know, something needs to be different, and something needs to be better, and that's the effort. So please join up, guys. Go over there and check it out. Old School says OIDA is as bad as ATA. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about, Old School. I feel like they're side by side. And that's why PETA has been created, because we don't feel that they have our best interest in mind, the real truckers. And Jeff is heading that organization up, Jeffrey Lake. So please go over there, check out the site, check out the benefits. They're increasing all the time. He's working really hard on it. And he's definitely intending to move this thing forward and get the real issues out there and do something about it. But it's this organization is for all truckers, whether you're company or whether you're owner operator. Like, somebody's got to get to the real issues instead of all this BS with the mega carriers. And that is first and foremost the intent of that organization. Okay? And membership is half off right now. And with the benefits that are already in place, it pays for itself. So please check it out. Jeff's been working really hard on that. And, I'm trying to help and promote it as much as I can, because there's never a better time to get rowdy, peacefully rowdy, and come together and get some issues taken care of than right now. Like, they're hearing us. So appreciate what the current associations are doing and getting done, but we need something a little bit better, and that's what PETA-US is going to be. Will Burner says, you can thank Trumpy Trump for the tariffs on your deficit. You know what? Here's the thing about the tariffs. Everybody's mad at Trump, but it's not Trump's idea. This country was built as a business on tariffs, not the IRS, not slavery. Trump is simply trying to put the original plan, the original business plan, back in place. We have obviously pissed away all of our children's inheritances. I don't want to say we, I'm saying them. We're paying taxes upon taxes upon taxes upon taxes. That is not how America was built. That's not the way the business is supposed to run. He is simply grabbing his cojones and saying, look, all this craziness is crazy. That's not the way America works. We have to go back to the original business plan and enforce it and get on it and put those principles back in place, because America is going to go bankrupt if we don't, because This system, this chaos that's been created, this government that is too huge and spending too much money is stupid. It's not that's not that's not the business plan, okay? Let's get back to the business plan where we are successful and everything goes back to prosperity. Okay? That's all. Trump is being a good CEO. Getting back to the business plan, cutting the fat, exposing the fraud. I appreciate that. I can't hate him for that. That's what any good CFO, CEO is going to do with a business. And he's not afraid to do it. This economy was built in a perfect world, in a perfect system back in the day where we were only taxed when we were in war. At this point, we are taxed on every freaking breath we take about doing anything, every dollar we spend. That's how drastic it's gotten. And we're still going broke, and American taxpayers are paying more money than they ever have or than their grandparents ever have. Yeah, see where this is going? Like, we've got to stop. And so I appreciate him for that. It's not Trump's tariffs. We've gotten away from, we've giving to too many countries and being taken advantage of by too many countries. Like, he's leveling out that playing field, okay? So that everything's fair. So I'm not going to blame him because I already know the history behind it. That's not, like, we've just gotten so far off of the business plan. It's so whacked out. And this is the result we're left in. And we're in very serious financial trouble. So we have to turn it around, and we have to get back to when it worked, because everything after this didn't work, and it's slowly been the decline. That's my commentary on that. Buck Brown says, do not Google the U.S. debt clock unless you want to be depressed. Sorry for the spinning wheels, guys. I think it's just the internet here. It's probably why I lost some people. Sick Semper Tyrannis says, some of y'all are about to realize why your grandmother reused her aluminum foil. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Even when it comes to food. In my whole diet journey, like, dude, I've realized that I used to think my whole family died because they were using lard and they were eating bacon and all this stuff, right? I grew up trained to think that and stay away from fat, right? Now I have knowledge, the real knowledge, and I realize that they ate like we're supposed to eat. And all that lard and bacon fat and all that, your body thrives on it. Imagine that. It was the introduction of processed foods and the stupid food pyramid that's all upside down. That's when we started to get sick and fat. Turns out that lard and animal fat and ghee and real butter and grass-fed meat, all that good stuff, all the bacon you want to eat, turns out they were right. Six Number Tyrannus says, we will be the third world by the end of the decade. Well, I hope not. I got grandkids coming up. Generations to come. So God is in control, and it's just really like sit back and just enjoy watching his work, because it is happening right before our eyes. Old School says, real reasons why, no thanks. The Barack Osama bin Laden and Sleepy Joe Biden. Yeah, I hope, can we say that now on our YouTube channels? Chief Ray Heller says, any tariffs on the sunshine yet? Yeah, not yet. I don't put it past anybody, though. Buck Brown says, does anyone else smile a little bit when Shannon cusses? Like, did I cuss? Buck, only you. Robin's in the house. Good morning, Robin. No, but there is on water. Yeah. God, water. Oh, God. You don't even want to know what I learned about the Great Lakes, you guys. I'll have to do another video on that. That's something that I have heard no one talk about. And I am from Michigan, and I didn't even know this. I'm going to need to make another video about that. It's frightening. Cheap Freight Hauler says government doesn't want successful citizens. They want citizens. Yeah, that's called slaves. Six says it's a little bit too late. Americans are just going to invade Canada and start anew. Gasman's in the house. Howdy, folks. Rubicon 5280. Hey, good morning. Gasman says, give me a deep fried bacon wrap bacon with a little bit of butter on it and salt. Right? Remember, they even wrecked our salt, guys. Get real salt. Redmond's real salt and pink Himalayan sea salt, and you can have all you want anytime, and you don't have to worry about nothing. Your little heart's not going to suffer for it. I mean, maybe. See, there's a thing. When you're eating fat and meat based and salt, your body's happy. The inflammation goes away. You feel great. You know, you start to glow, I think. And all those things can be very health-free. My blood work is outstanding, by the way. I got my blood work done while I was home. So I was happy to see that. It proves my point about my diet change. But when you start throwing the processed foods with that healthy way of eating, now you get plaques building up and all this and that and the other. Okay, so you do this 100 or do that 100. But if you're trying to heal your health and your body and all your ailments, when you eat like that, carnivore and animal fats, meat and animal fats, you have to stay away from that other stuff, because when you put the processed stuff and you mix that in with the animal fats, that's what makes your blood cells sticky. And so that's those cells getting sticky, that's what sticks to the walls of your arteries and whatnot. That's what causes blockages. That's what messes you up. So it's all back to the processed foods, man. Just stay away from them. You don't want to try to mix these things. So it's bad. That's really bad for you, because that's when those cells get sticky and problems happen. Chief Rayaler says, Shannon, go on its History Channel and watch how Chicago used to run their sewage into the lake and draw drinking water from it. Yeah. I didn't know all that stuff. I happened to wake up in the middle of the night and there was an article playing and it was Trump talking about it. And I was like, what? Our Great Lakes? So I have to look further into it before I do a video on it, but I will share it. I'll share what I find. 6 says, Chicago's island is a toxic dump. Yeah, dude. Our water. Oh, let's wreck all the water so that, or at least tell them that, so that we can bottle it and we'll make $1 off of every drip drop of water. So, I don't know. Is gummy bears processed food? Yes. Yes, Cheap Freight Hauler. I'm sorry. Sugar is not allowed. Unless, you can have a little honey. You can have stevia. Okay. You can maybe have some cane sugar. But you don't want white sugar, and you don't want sugar alcohols, and you don't want processed sugar. And God, I'm telling you, they put it in everything. Basically, anything that has a barcode, don't eat it. I mean, that's processed, obviously, Don't even get me started on the water treatment center in Stickney. Yeah, sick, we could talk about water pollution all day. I mean, I'm from Flint. We had the water crisis, and hey, guess what? It's still happening. Nobody fixed it. I'm still waiting for my lawsuit check. David Edwards is in the house saying, good morning, kids. Well, guys, we got about an hour and a half, and I thank you for joining me, but I think I've drank enough coffee in my awesome Snorlord cup that my bladder's about to explode. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I wish you all a great day. God bless you out there. Be safe. I love you. Thank you for coming in and talking about current events with me and having coffee here from the dealership, White's International in Greensboro, North Carolina. And they're probably going to be about done with me pretty soon anyways. And then I'm going to find me a load and get back to making money. So I love you guys. Please hit your like on the way out if you don't mind. And until the next one, toodles.